Congratulations on your waiting.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, can see your screen there now, Joseph. I can't hear you, Joseph.
Oh, I was muted.
Yeah. Okay.
Apologies.
Okay.
All right. So yes, I was saying that today may be the first time I'll be presenting with a slide on this show. So I'm just going to be doing a slideshow for us to look through some few slides. So it's about an event. Okay, this was a slide I presented in the event I had within the week also to discover the effective strategy for better teamwork in Microsoft Teams. So, of course, we know that Microsoft Teams is a collaboration tool, and being a collaboration tool, it is used to, have a lot of interactions on different things. But then it can actually pose some challenges and hinder productivity. And somebody will want to say, how is it even possible for teams to hinder productivity? But this session of the presentation will actually explore the challenges and provide ways to addressing them. So currently, the current challenges we have is one of the major issues I've experienced, and I am so passionate when I speak about it, is fragmented messages. Sending messages in a fragmented way can actually cause distraction, and we will see that in the demo session. Then, what is the solution to fragmented messages? It is actually consolidation of your messages that you want to send to your colleague, to your friend, to your support team, within a team while you are making use of Microsoft Teams. You need to consolidate what you are writing and send your message as short as possible to reduce the level of distraction and notifications that could even cause disturbance. So importance of staying focused. It is, of course, while in your day-to-day work, of course, we cannot overemphasize the reason why we must stay focused. Staying focused will help us to avoid distraction, staying on track, and achieving goals. And it is crucial for effective team and collaboration. Avoiding irrelevant messages too. Salutation is important, but we should know that one hello and hitting on the enter button is going to create a notification. And if that individual is not online at that time, he's going to, on Teams at that time, he's going to send an email to him just because you sent a hi to him. Then Microsoft Teams, using provide a platform, to stay focused and streamline communications and all of that. However, the strategies to enhance communication and productivity is clear. You manage the time very well. In terms of trying to communicate clearly, it's very important that we consider that. Then using Teams effectively, this topic is so important that some persons do not know the differences between teams and channels. So when we engage in conversations and I speak to them about what a channel actually is, sometimes I see people learning from it, and I'm always happy to see how I can share more of those knowledge. So I would always say that a team is a house, while channels are like the segments of that house. So if you have a house, you're going to have a restroom, you're going to have the kitchen, you have the living room, and then you have the bedrooms, as the case may be, if it's a standard apartment. The same thing happens when you are using Microsoft Teams. The fact that you create a team before now, it will automatically create a general channel for you. And the general channel is seen as a house where the like the living room that everyone that stays in that house has access to. While you can now decide to create segments of that house to speak to the different activities that you want people to carry out. Same thing happens in teams. Let's say you are handling a project from production, and in this production, there is planning phase, there is implementation phase, there is finance phase, and then there is also like project management angle of it, and then the technical maybe for the developers of that particular project. So then main channel, now we have option to name it, but before now it used to be general channel and that's all you had. But now you can name it, so you can call that general channel like the landing page for everyone, maybe general as the name implies, and then you put the name of the project. But when it has to do with finance, you may want to create a separate channel, and you can decide to make that channel a private channel. And then when it comes to planning, you create another channel and so on. Now, if you make a channel a private channel, what it means is that somebody is in that team but will not be able to see that channel. And then just also that you can have conversations that actually relate to topics to be segmented into different rooms, just like the kitchen is for cooking, while the living room is for relaxation and the bedroom is for sleeping, right? So the same thing happens too when you create these channels, and then it now depends on if you want the channel to be open to all the member of the team, then you decide. Otherwise, you can make them private channel and add the finance guy into finance, and add the architects into developers, and then add the like open the general channel for everybody to bring up suggestions and then communicating general stuff. So it's a nice thing also maybe in an academic sector where you have arms or you have classes. It can be like a team, and then different arm can be in different channels as the case may be. So channel in teams helps to organize team communication by creating separate spaces for different topics or projects, allowing team members to stay focused and then informed. Then art mention too is very important. So as at the time you start having people in your team, you may want to spot somebody's attention to a particular conversation. Then you have option to art mention the person. But then art mention as is one of the major distractions that we can have in Teams and in group chats, because if you at mention the channel name, then it's going to send notification to everyone that is in that team. And if it's a group chat, if you at mention everyone, then it's going to send a message to everyone. I mean, it's going to send a notice to everyone in that team to say, like, there is something more than just a notification to you. Then tags also is also a way to make sure that you know what and who you want to reach out to during the course of the project. Then collaboration is very important. For example, people send messages, I mean emails, and then they want to make sure that people who are working on a particular document, you are sending a mail and you are attaching the document as an attachment. So when that person edits, then the next person also needs to download and start editing again. So co-authoring is actually a better way to do this. So instead of sharing the file via your email by attachments, you could actually do like put it in your OneDrive or in a SharePoint link and then share it via Teams or whatever. Because if you upload the file in Teams channel, then it's going to be in SharePoint. Then if you upload it to your one-on-one chat, it's going to be like on OneDrive. So you can actually do an upload to your colleague via Teams, and then you can have collaboration on a document, and you can have co-authoring for hundreds of people working on a document at a go. So screen sharing, of course, is one of those features in Teams, but also without overemphasizing the advantage of screen sharing, it can actually be a hindrance to your work, as well as being a distraction or a security threat to your organization. So I just want us to be looking at some basic things that I want us to look at. So this guy on the screen is my lab rat guy. So I am signed in here into Teams as Joseph, and I am also signed in here as Labrats. Excuse me, I just clicked somewhere wrongly. So this is me in Teams, right? So this is Labrat. So if I hello Labrat now, if I hello Labrat, then it's going to get a hello, right? And there is a notification. Excuse me, I clicked something and it's just rolling. So I'm going to share my screen again and include sound in my screen share so that you can, understand fully what I'm trying to talk about. So I'm presenting my screen again. Share screen, entire screen, and then I will include sound. So Frank, I hope you have my screen on now.
Yeah, I can see it
Yes.
there.
Okay, great, thank you. So I'm going to bring up this guy here, and I'll bring up this other guy at this point. So what I'm trying to say about distractions in Teams, of course, you know that when you are using Teams and you have Copilot license, good thing is you can use this sign here in your Teams chat to chat, your colleague. Let's say I just want to chat this guy and I want Copilot to help me, draft a message for him. Of course, I can do that. I can say hello, how are you? How are you, Labrat? And then if I want Copilot to help me reconfigure, rewrite it, I can ask it to just click here to rewrite my message, and then it's going to do that and say, hello, how are you doing? How are you doing in the lab today? So if I wanted this to be, longer, I think that would be obvious. If I want it to be longer, then of course the message can be longer. I hope this message finds you well. I'm reaching out to check on you and to see how you're progressing with your task. Like that, right? So it's trying to rewrite that message. Then if I want it to be concise again, I can do this, right? How are you? Simple and short. But that's not my focus. I'm just using the opportunity to show us that it is possible that you use Copilot to compose or to rewrite emails, chats within you and your colleague. But my focus now is on chats, right? So it's showing that Joseph is typing, and if I hit on this, you hear a sound, and that is because I've sent hello, how are you? Now, what happens when I am saying let's say Labrat, let's say this is Labrat responding to Joseph. Let's say Joseph is the technical support engineer in Labrat's company, or there's a collaboration that is supposed to go on between Labrat and Joseph. Now look at two instances. I have a case where my screen has issues on Teams. It is not showing when I share it. That is the problem. Labrat is the agent. Joseph is the agent. Labrat is the person facing the issue. And then Labrat come to say, hello, how are you? Trust your night was great. Was great. I am having an issue. I hope you can help me. My screen is no longer sharing. Now, the point I'm trying to raise is, let us say that Joseph was attending to an issue from another user, and this lab rat guy has come to say, hello, how are you doing, Joseph, today? Hello, how are you? Trust your night was great. I'm having an issue. I hope you can help me. My screen is no longer sharing. This is going to send Joseph notifications. It's going to email him, if especially if he's not online, and if this guy wants to make things worse, he now says Joseph this way, and then he at mentions Joseph, and that's even the worst one, right? I don't know why that's not coming up now, but what I'm trying to say is that if you look at these conversations, it is popping up notification and distractions to Joseph. But if you want to send a message, tell me, Frank, when I'm done with this and see now, you may want to contribute. If I come to say, now look at something before I move on, I must show you this card. So if I come here and if I type hello here and I mistakenly press the enter button, it is going to come to Joseph as one message. But if I had come here and I say hello and I hold down the shift key and press enter, the message is not going to get delivered yet, but it will enter, for me to type, how are you? How are you today? If I need to, right, I will still hold down the enter button and I say, I am having an issue and hope you can help me. I've still not pressed enter. I still held down my shift key and I pressed the enter button. My screen is no longer sharing. No longer sharing. And then I hit on enter once. So what happens is that Joseph this time around is going to get one notification, and when it comes to read this, he will read, hello, how are you today? I am having an issue and hoping you can help me. My screen is no longer sharing. This sent one notification with the consolidated message that I was talking about while I was presenting my screen. So Teams is very useful at this time for this guy. He has only sent one message with all the information and all the formalities of greeting. That is, if you even need to greet and ask how I am doing. And then another different or separate thing you can do instead of just hitting on your message and start typing, or you don't want to be hit. Of course, it can be very simple for you to forget to just hit on enter while your message is still in progress, right? Just by accident it happens. But what you can do is, if you can click on the A icon here, show formatting options, so you can do this, right? So what this means is that if you say hello Joseph, so you are not going to get yourself kicked out when you click on enter. You can decide to format your text to, I am having an issue with my teams and I am getting an error while sharing screen. Sharing screen. Please see screenshots for more details. So Frank, I'm asking, who do you think is going to get quicker response? And also, um, I wanted to put the screenshots. I don't know why my um, sniping tool is not coming on. So Frank, I'm just asking, among these two persons, among these two scenarios, which do you prefer?
I prefer just a long message with everything in it instead of
Be
getting bombarded
okay.
with notifications.
Yes. So I don't know if I'm the only one that gets annoyed with notifications, because of course I see that it's a very big distraction. So Sina, which do you prefer yourself? Sina, still here? I have only one screen. Apologies. Sina, can you hear me? Steven, which one do you prefer?
Yeah, I think I prefer this one. I think it's straightforward. Even I think it's straightforward. Just when you just type the whole instead of doing one by one, so you just get one notification which enables you to just read everything once and for all, and then give a response back. But my question is, what if I'm to respond to you back? Does it also apply
So
to
your
me?
question,
Like,
respond to this. If you want to respond from here as Joseph to this guy,
yeah,
right?
yeah, just yeah. I just want it to be in the same.
So
Yeah,
yeah. So
just.
if you want to also respond, of course,
Mhm.
as a support person, you do support, of course I know. So this actually gets me irritated. So what I do is when these messages come like this, and I've taken, so if you are this kind of person who does hello, how are you, I will not
Mm-hmm.
respond to your hello. I will let you send your hello, because I know that if you're asking how are you, I know you're not a doctor. So that's not why you're chatting with me. So I'm just going to wait. And then until I see my screen is no longer being shared. So what I would do is I would just come and hit on this, and I say, when did the issue
Okay.
start? When did the issue start? And all of those, our regular troubleshooting step, right?
Yeah.
Then I
Yeah.
can go ahead and send. Now, this actually is a problem that somebody identified. And one of my clients in 2022 said he wants to stop people from chatting with themselves in Teams because he sees it as a distraction, right? So that is where my conversation is actually going to be centering around. So how do you prevent people from chats in your organization? You can actually do that if there is a need. Like if you see that this is impacting on your productivity, you can decide to say, no, I want to stop this from happening. So people can also be stopped from scheduling meetings and making calls. So while calling is important in Teams, I must tell you the truth that it's actually time consuming for somebody who could chat to decide to call you, because when the person calls you, it means that you have to leave whatever you are doing, except you are this type that can multitask. And even when you're multitasking, it affects your productivity, your efficiency, while you're on a call with somebody. I do support, and sometimes calls are actually distractions to me. So how do you prevent people if there is need, if you've identified that people are distracting themselves in an organization and you don't want them to be able to make one-on-one call, you want them to remain in chats, or you want them to not be able to schedule meeting, that you want to be in charge of meeting scheduling, or you want to appoint somebody to be the one to be scheduling meetings in your organization, and there must be a justification to why people would have to meet because they need to focus on what they are doing. You can actually limit all those ones to boost your productivity. So the question is, how do you do that? Now, this is Teams Admin Center. So if you have the Teams administrator role, then you can access this admin center by going to admin.teams.microsoft.com, and then you will see here. So what I want us to look at today is about messaging, because we just looked at it. So if you see that this is affecting productivity in your environment, you can come to messaging, and then you come to messaging policies. So when you get to messaging policies, you have, this is the global policy. So if there are people in your organization that you want to say they should not be chatting, you want to restrict this set of individuals from chatting because, of course, their work does not need them to chat. You can actually have situations like that. Like I had it with a client that didn't want people to be chatting. If you want to turn it off for the organization and allow a specific set of persons, it's also a design. But if you want to say, okay, you want some specific people not to be able to chat, let's say the people in I don't know the unit they may be, maybe in security. Those in security should be able to chat, right? Let's say people in marketing. Let's just say it's not actually a good example, but let's just say guys in marketing, users, they should not be able to chat. So the name of
Or accounting
you miss.
department. I think accounting they've got the
Okay,
that.
I'll take your point. Let's say accounting. Let's say chat disabled. Of course, chat disabled. So you want to say that do not want people in accounting to have IM option. Okay. So now what you do is you just look at this. You see this here. Just turn this off. So when you turn this off, so what it means is that the option for chat is not going to be there for them. So you save it. So when you save that policy, so what you do is you come to what it means is that everyone in your organization can chat, and then you want to assign this policy to somebody in accounting. Let's say that lab rat guy is actually one of those guys that is causing problems. So you go to assign, and then you go to lab rat. So if you click on add and then you click on apply, you confirm this, then sometimes it can be fast, sometimes it can take about 2 hours for lab rats to not be able to have the option to chat again, because of course you feel that it's being carried away by chat and it's affecting productivity, it's affecting collaboration, even though Teams was built upon collaboration. So what happens is that this guy, of course, I don't know why my tax bar is frozen. I would have been able to show you immediately how, if that has taken effect, I would have been able to show you where to, how the chat option will be grayed out for the guy. So let me see if my tax bar, I think, is active again.
So
So this is lab rat.
in a case where they are being signed in, then when you apply this effect, is it going to apply until they sign out?
So if you want it to take effect now, you can
Mm-hmm.
sign them out from admin center. Or if they don't sign out, when the browser refreshes it after like 2 3 hours, then this chat option here will just not be here anymore. So he will not be able to even see the option to chat with anyone in the organization. But if you use PowerShell to run this policy on LabRats, it will take faster, time to take effect. So for now, it still has, but by another 2 hours, it's not going to have this again. So you can moderate collaboration. Maybe in subsequent time, I'll talk about um, calls. I'll talk about calendar to just disable them from scheduling meeting, and then also hindering them from making calls if you see what is causing distraction in your organization. So that will be all we'll be able to handle today, because I know we're on top of the hour already. So
Yeah,
Frank, thank you again for the opportunity.
you're welcome, Joseph. Thanks very much. That was very kind of informative there. Some good ideas to stop nuisance in teens. So, guys, we're up on the hours. Joseph said. I think Joseph has another meeting to go to. We'll be back here again next week, and Seena is going to have that other um, co-piloting in Power Apps for us, and I might do some more stuff in Power Pages. Very interesting stuff. And thanks again, Stephen, for joining us. So, guys, see you next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Seena, I'm just ending the live.